The development of competency-based model in correlation with the training needs of adult learners. In this project, I have a content which contains the next subpoints. Introduction, the conceptual framework, training needs of adult learners, types of competences specific to adult learning, a new competency-based model in correlation with the training needs of adult learners, conclusion and references. The aim of the paper is to develop an innovative model of learners' skills from the perspective of adult education. Several categories of skills are involved as a result of the current holistic approaches in the field of adult education, as well as in connection with the current requirements of society. At the core of the model are several categories of skills such as communication, scientific, intercultural, entrepreneurial, social, and digital. Each type of the competence provides the adult learners with the knowledge, skills, values, and the behaviors to determine professional success. The novelty of the work result from the determination of the categories of skills in accordance with the training needs of adult learners, which ensures their optimal integration in the socio-professional level. Current approaches in adult education focus on assessing training needs from a personal or a professional perspective. To increase learning motivation, adults want to clarify their concrete needs to know clearly how they will be able to use the learning experiences in which they are being trained. The adult learner will be understood as skills are explored in close connection with their training needs and training strategies. The key concept of the paper are as follows: adult education, adult learning, skills and training needs. In the view of the Schob and Zenke, adult education represents as wide a range of instructional offerings that consciously address adults with the aim of broadening their spiritual horizon and fulfilling expectation of professional qualification, which is not subject to legal regulation, having freedom of choice in terms of content and organization. The basis characteristic of adult learning are as follows: creating and maintaining an atmosphere of respect between trainer and participant and between all training, taking into account the professional experience of trainees, structuring and training improvement program based on the needs and availability of the beneficiaries, ensuring an immediate applicability of tools learned. Adults are pragmatic and therefore their learning will be proved productive, involving adults in solving problems relevant to concrete situation, guiding adults towards action and reflection, developing critical thinking and using multiple perspectives and approaching learning as a collaborative effort between trainees and trainers, providing the basis for their own learning, continuous training and professional development. The concept of competence is as challenged as it differs in the definition given from different perspectives by various authors. From a broad, general perspective, competence is understood as the cumulative result of the personal history of an individual in his interaction with the outside world. The European Union defines the key competence of a combination of knowledge, capacities, and attitudes adapted to the context. Skills represent an optimal combination and restructuring of skill and knowledge in order to carry out an action and in a situation. Skills confer superior quality in the exploitation of knowledge in the integration of skills, giving the plasticity. Competencies assist not only by the volume of information assimilated in a given time, but also by the degree of their understanding, but by the ease of the year integration into the previous system of knowledge, and above it by the skills of operating with them. In practice, in solving problem, and producing material. According to Knowles, there are 6 types of specific needs that are involved in the learning process in adult education: need to know, self-concept, previous experience, willingness to learn, learning orientation, and motivation to learn. Trainers will facilitate adult learning by determining them to become aware of their need to know. Also, the role of trainers is to create environments in which adults develop their self-directed learning skills, which give them a high level of personal responsibility. The richest resource for learning in adult education is one's own experience, which will be harnessed through various experimental techniques, such as participation in discussion, conducting simulation, implementing problem-solving activities. The basis need of adults is to perform various tasks in the context of application in real life. As for motivation towards learning, adults are receptive to certain external factors such as a better job, higher wage, but the strongest motivators are internal, which are visible through the desire to increase job satisfaction, improve self-esteem. Understanding the training needs of andragogy prepares facilitators to create successful program for adult learners, to develop the quality of education of teachers, and to facilitate socio-professional integration. Emphasis will be placed on the training and development of a set of skills with general and specific function. The educational action centered on the formation of skills implies both the presentation of the theoretical notion and the cultivation and the consolidation of the basis of concrete activity, motivation and attitudes, norms and practical principles of approach and solution of various problems. At the basis of the competency model is in the context of adult learning, several categories are delimited: communication, scientific, intercultural, social, entrepreneurial, and digital skills. According to Parks, communication competences represent the degree to which individuals satisfy the goals they have set themselves within the limits of the social situation, without risking their abilities or opportunities to pursue other, more important goals from an individual point of view. The competence of a speaking subject is given by the set of possibilities put exclusively on account the fact that the subject mastered the respective language, which implies his ability to construct and recognize the infinity of grammatically correct phrases to interpret those endowed with meaning. Scientific competencies constitute a complex ensemble comprising the skills necessary for problem solving, as well as the ability to reflect on problem solving at a meta level. These categories of skills promote the acquisition and generation of knowledge for learners with a view to qualification through training in the field of science. A new competency-based model in correlation with the training needs of adult learners. The model in the context of adult learners, based on your skills, you will promote a more systematic analysis of the intervention to education, which covers all of the components of the curriculum. The objective and content of the curriculum, which perform the function of guidance, planning, design of the training. Strategy that perform the function of making the training for problem solving and problem situation to evaluate which perform the function of the expert on of the regulation self-regulation of the activity of the training. Pedagogy of the competences offers an integrative vision on the training of learners in accordance with social economic expectation. At the base of the competency-based model are the three main dimensions: epistemological, anthropological, and professional. And the component elements of the curriculum aims methodology evaluation closely related to the training needs of adult learners. The structural components arranged in a logical sequences or outline the model of information of specific learning skills in adult education. The proposed model stage the skills training action from the cognitive theoretical and action practical perspective, being closely related to the objectives of the training program. The starting point in the development of the model is the consideration that adult education materializes in practice through the dimension analyzed: epistemological, which includes all current concepts and approaches in this field; anthropological and professional, in order to highlight the importance of the adapting the dynamic requirements of the labor market. At the base of the competency, as we speak a few seconds away, in the conclusion are development of the competency-based model in line with the professional development needs of adult learners, facilitates the adaptation of learning according to the physio-pedagogical characteristic of the age. Communication skills, scientific, intercultural, social, entrepreneurial, digital can be formed in adult learners based on the three dimensions: epistemological, anthropological, professional, which express the current tendencies of adult education to modify its purpose, evolving from knowing to be, to know what you have and to do and act. Thank you.